everybody, welcome. I thought I'd just do a little two-in-one product review for you today on a couple of things from Clinique. I was just at that place where I was ready to talk about both of them, so I thought I'd lump them into the same video. But I've got these two thingies here. This is the whole Lotta Chubby set, so you're getting a bunch of their chubby sticks. It's like a chubby stick variety pack. And then they have what I believe is a new palette called a Pink Honey Affair, and I have talked about the Black Honey Affair palette. They're all about shadow, 8-color palette. So I was kind of interested to try this one. This is what it looks like. You've got a mirror. It's a very compact design, and I do love that because I know I traveled with my Black Honey one a lot over like Christmas last year, and it was just so handy because it took up no room. It's a sturdy palette. I wasn't worried about it breaking. And with the Black Honey Affair, as you can see, I was able to get quite a variety of looks. I could go a little bit purpley, and then I had just a nice classic spectrum of neutrals as well, from warm to cool, all in one really small palette. So I love this. I've raved about this. And just in terms of the quality of Clinique shadows all around, I feel like they're very strong. They're pigmented. They don't seem to generate a lot of fallout, but they also have really great staying power. And I know this kind of varies person to person, like what your eyeshadow staying power struggle might be. Some people, even if they're using powder shadows, they'll notice creasing with them, and that's kind of an oily lid issue. I don't really have super oily lids, but sometimes that's an issue I'll have with cream shadows. But talking about powders, it'll be more so fading. That's what I'm looking for. Like when I'm trying out eyeshadows and I'm looking at staying power, I'm always using a base, and bases and primers definitely help, but still there are some shadows that really seem to be able to adhere, and they last, and they look very true to color, like from the way things started to the end of the day. And then there are some where you just feel like the color intensity has faded some. And with my Clinique shadows, I really feel like they don't fade. And I'd love to hear your feedback if you've also tried Clinique shadows. Do you feel this way too? Because I kind of feel like that's a unique characteristic about these. Now, what's not so unique would probably be the color selection in this Pink Honey Affair palette. The pinky shades that you do get in here are more toward the light end, and they're just really like kind of barely there pinks in my opinion. And for some people, you might be loving that because you don't really want all-out pinks. Like, I wouldn't say they're as pinky as the pink-toned or rosy-toned shades in the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. I would call this the softest take on pink eyeshadow, and then you've got other shades that you can kind of mix in, you know, soft mattes that you can put in the crease. There's a nice deep dark matte brown. There's a dark shimmery brown right here. Some of these shades you may have in other palettes, and I'll put up the little guide that's on the back, and it tells you, you know, some of these are from other palettes, some of these are maybe singles just on their own. I really like the balance of matte, shimmer, light to dark. I don't really feel like there's a super weak shade in this kit. If there is one that shows up a little more on the sheer side, it's probably this lightest one right here. It's got a little shimmer, and sometimes when I use that, I feel like I need to build it a bit, but everything else is really nice. There's a pretty like lighter kind of pinky taupey shade and then a deeper taupe in here. So I think the taupe lovers in general will probably kind of gravitate toward this color scheme and like it. But I just feel like I have to point out it's not nearly as unique of a palette as my Black Honey Affair. I like this one more. I feel I can do more things with it. It just stands out more to me personally. But I wanted to show you these products in action, and I put a primer on my lid, and then I just went in with the lightest shade around the inner corner, and then I went with the most pinky shade in this palette so you can see how this goes on, and I put that just with the sponge tip on about half of my lid, and you can see it's got some shimmer. It's not like all out super metallic, but that's probably the most shimmery shade in the palette. Then I use this kind of soft matte brown in my crease just to deepen things up there. I blended above with some more of the pinky shade and then put the lightest shade under my brow as my highlight. I used the really dark warm brown that has a little bit of shimmer in it, and I actually covered about half the lid with that shade. And I also took it on my lower lash line, just smudgy with a pencil brush. And then I used a light liner on the lower inner rim and a dark brown liner on the upper lash line, mascara top and bottom, some false lashes. Just an example of a classic kind of look that you can get with this palette, but I really wanted to show off what I saw as probably the most pinky shade, so you can see that really, all in all, you can see the little pink tone twist, but it's very subtle. And Clinique offers a bunch of different 8-pan palettes like this. There's not just the Black Honey affair. They also have, like, I think Wear Everywhere grays, Wear Everywhere browns. I think there may even be a Wear Everywhere pinks that may or may not have a little more pink tone than this one. But I do think the Clinique shadows are worth trying. I don't think you'll be disappointed by their quality or their staying power, but it's going to be a personal preference thing as far as what kinds of colors you're drawn to. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is this whole Lotta Chubby set, and this is, you know, one of their little holiday kits. The only thing I've had experience with from the Chubby Stick line are a few of their Chubby Stick Intense, like jumbo pencil type things, and I really have liked them. They're bold color, they're non-shimmery, at least all the ones I've tried. I kind of see these as an alternative for someone who might like Tarte Lip Surgence but doesn't like any of the minty scent or flavor, you know, that slightly tingly feel, because these are totally unscented, at least to me. Although I have a cold, but I'm pretty sure I'm not smelling a darn thing. But basically with these lip colors, you're getting 3 different intensities. One of them really surprised me. It's the Chubby Stick Baby Tint. And so this version, when I look at it, I feel like that looks kind of like a transparent type balm, you know, even though it looks a little bit orangey or coral. It just seems to be the kind of thing where I would imagine that going on with like next to no color on my lips. And it doesn't swatch very much, very intensely on the hand either. But once I apply this to my lips, I'm really surprised by the amount of color it gives off. It really behaves a lot like the Je ne sais quoi Vitality Lip Flush from IT Cosmetics. It looks like something to be super sheer, but then it really has color once you put it on the lips. It's not quite as orangey as the packaging might lead you to believe. I think it comes off more as a sheer pink. The shade name is Poppin' Poppy. It's pretty. It's something I'll use. I find it very comfortable. It has a really like easy balm-like feel and a little bit of shine, so I do like that, and I was very interested to try it. The next one that you get is the one I've been wearing throughout the video, and this is just a classic Chubby Stick, and the shade is called Curvy Candy. So here we're talking classic pink. It's going to be a little fuller coverage on the lips than the last one, but still has, I think, an element of sheerness to it. It's definitely not as opaque as the Intense variety, but I think this is a great pink lip color. Classic, you know, it's got that little bit of brightness to it. It has a really smooth texture. I'm not seeing any shimmer in this product. It doesn't give off a ton of shine, but just one of those really easy, no fuss, kind of one-step simple lip colors. And then you've got this great red from the Chubby Stick Intense line, and it really is, I mean, you can tell just as you sweep it on, more coverage on the lips, brighter color. This is a great holiday shade, so I'm glad they threw something in there that's got a little more intensity, because the other two both kind of in the pinky color family, so boom, here's your reddish shade. I love it. While it's an intense red and it does have a little shine, it's not too greasy on the lips. I'm always like, I have a radar for greasy reds that I'm worried about drifting and being hard to manage and maintain, keep an eye on. This one doesn't go too far in that direction, so I do like that, but it's definitely not a matte. A shade that I won't be able to show you today in actual application, I can swatch it for you, but I didn't want to apply it alongside the palette because I wanted you to see how that palette worked just standing alone. But they give you one of these Chubby Sticks for eyes, and it's in the shade Bountiful Beige. So it's a pretty champagne kind of shimmer. I see a little bit of peach in this, like golden peach when I swatch it. I have used this on the eyes before. It's pretty, it's brightening. It can be a nice kind of spotlighting shade if you just wanted to put a little under the brow or around the inner corner. I have even used this as a highlight on my cheeks, and it has, you know, maybe a little more sparkle than I'm looking for in that aspect, but it could be used that way if you want to. One thing to note about this is I don't feel like it completely sets. I can leave, for example, a swatch just on my hand for, you know, a good 5 minutes and then go back to rub over it. And because this has some sparkle in it, I feel like I'm able to rub over it and kind of pull some of that sparkle away. Now, I'm not sure if every Chubby Stick for eyes has shimmer. There may be some that don't, and it might be a slightly slightly different formula and maybe a little different story there for the staying power. But this one, if I wore this alone, I would not be surprised if I saw some fading with it. But one way that I'll probably use it is more, like I said, spotlighting different areas or maybe as a base to some other shadows. So then we've got this Chubby Stick cheek color in the shade Amped Up Apple, and I really like this. I love the shade. We're talking like kind of a soft mauve color here with this one, and I like the texture a lot. I think it's very easy to work with. In my application, I just, you know, popped it on right from the stick and blended it out with my fingers, and I had no problem with it. So application was easy enough. It's a pretty shade. And then number 3, I love the fact that it doesn't stay sticky on my cheeks. Like, that's the last layer of makeup I have on my face, and it still feels pretty consistent with everything else I'm wearing. This is just a very simple, no-brainer product. I like that they put a shade in here that I think is buildable, so you can add a little more color, achieve a bit more depth if you want it. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the kit, and then, I don't know, it's between the 2 lip colors. I really do like this pink. I don't know, might like the red just a little more. So this whole Lotta Chubby kit, I would say if you're like me and you're kind of a product sampling junkie and you're just intrigued by trying some different formats of products, this may be worth it for you. I don't think this is necessarily a must-have for everyone, because while the baby tint and the Chubby Stick and the Chubby Stick and tints were pretty, I don't think they're incredibly unique. There are tons of jumbo lip pencils on the market these days. A lot of them are very comfortable on the lips as well, and I like these. I'll definitely use these, but it's not like your only opportunity to experience something like this is through this kit, because let's face it, there's a lot out there. Overall, the shadow stick for eyes was just okay for me, but I really did like the cheek tint. So just wanted to share my experiences with you on these couple different Clinique items. Would love to hear your feedback in the comments section on how these things have worked out for you, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.